Thunder Within. Chapter 4. Twin Souls Reunited. 2 months had passed so quickly. Claire's co-worker Susan had mysteriously disappeared, so Claire was given a promotion to cover Susan's work as well. Life had pretty much settled down, and Claire and Jake spent a lot of time together. They seemed to have an uncanny knowing that they were meant to be together, and felt as if they had always been together. Jake's Aunt Emma was visiting the horse rescue that weekend, so he was eager for Claire to be there to meet her. Emma was in her 50s, fiery red hair, very athletic, and a warm, humorous personality, just like Jake. "Aunt Emma, this is Claire," Jake proudly introduced them. "Claire is wonderful with the horses and helps out nearly every weekend. In fact, we're a couple." "Oh, Jake, that's wonderful news. So pleased to finally meet you, Claire," Aunt Emma gushed as she embraced Claire in a warm hug. Aunt Emma loved Jake and felt as if he was her own son. She couldn't have children, so it spoilt her brother's son Jake as often as she could. She was looking forward to handing over the running of the horse rescue to Jake because she was planning to move into her best friend Sally's manor with her. Sally had inherited the manor from her late uncle and had invited Emma to move into one of the many luxurious rooms after Emma had spent an adventurous weekend there. The manor had some extremely intriguing secrets which they had uncovered, to say the least. Emma had accepted, as she had known Sally for over 20 years, and they both got on well with each other. She was only 2 hours' drive away from the horse rescue anyway, so would still be able to visit now and again. She was quite excited at the new prospect of a life at Sally's manor, and was ecstatic that Jake had someone special to help him run the horse rescue. Claire found herself opening up the conversation easily with Aunt Emma. "I feel like I've known Jake forever," Claire gushed as she chatted over a cup of coffee while Jake was outside checking on the horses. "I've just been having these strange dreams about Jake being someone else and me being a woman called Catherine. These scarlet-eyed people trying to kill us. Then the other day in the park, this old man attacked me and a beautiful woman appeared out of nowhere and saved me. She's the same woman from my dream. Amber. Oh my goodness, Claire. I know Amber. This runs a lot deeper than any of us knows. You and Jake need to visit us at Manor and we will explain everything. But just know, as long as you and Jake are together, Amber is not far and will protect you from any danger." Claire looked shocked, and at that moment Jake walked in, sensed the tension in the air and looked concerned. "Jake, you'd better sit down," Aunt Emma gestured to Jake. "Claire has met Amber, who protected her from the scarlet-eyed beings as well." "Aunt Emma, I really think we deserve to know what's going on right now," Jake demanded, sensing that not only was he in danger, but that Claire was now as well. Jake had been confronted by these odd scarlet-eyed people on quite a few occasions, but they had mysteriously disappeared as soon as this beautiful amber-eyed woman had appeared out of nowhere. It had unsettled him tremendously, but he just wrote it off to his wild imagination. Plus, there had been the vivid dreams of having someone else centuries ago, of standing under a willow tree waiting for the love of his life, beautiful Catherine, of being stabbed by a scarlet-eyed thug, then nothing, peace had overwhelmed him in a cloud of exhaustion, and he had drifted off into a swirling kaleidoscope of colours. Every time he had this dream he had woken drenched in sweat. He had recognised Catherine. It was Claire. How? Was it possible? Aunt Emma pulled up a chair and motioned for both of them to sit down with her. "I'm afraid both of you are going to think I'm gone quite senile. However, magic is real. I've listened to both of your dreams, and yes, you were together all those years ago. Before you call the crazy farm to collect me in a straitjacket, hear me out. These scarlet-eyed beings are unfortunately also real. We've discovered, and when I say we, I'm talking about Aunt Sally, who just inherited her Uncle Dan's manor, and I. We've discovered that they are from a parallel realm and survive by absorbing strong energy of a host, which unfortunately dies in the process. You see, the manor is on a nexus point, which means it intersects the realms of dragons and spirits, and somehow these beings manage to cross the realms on occasion. I know this is a lot to absorb, and this next bit of information will really sound ridiculous. But Aunt Sally was a dragon, who transformed into a human baby when she was nearly killed by her Uncle Dan, who used to be a dragon hunter. Aunt Sally has discovered a few powers of her own, and I've witnessed them, so I know what I'm talking about. Amber is a phoenix, who seems to show up whenever someone's life is in danger. She's an immortal, a protector of sorts. We don't know too much about Emma because we've met her but not actually spoken to her. Aunt Emma saw the look of scrutiny and disbelief on their faces and held up a hand in sheer determination. She had to make them realize this was all true and they had to take her seriously, as their lives were in danger now, and she knew these beings had found Claire and Jake and were targeting them. "You can't be serious, Aunt Emma. Are you sure you haven't been reading too many stories?" Jake interrupted, not quite wanting to accept the responsibilities that came with knowing all this. "Wait, Jake, it does sort of make sense. I mean, how else would you explain all the things that have happened?" Claire intervened. "Please, Aunt Emma, go on." Aunt Emma took out her cell phone and called her friend Sally. Claire and Jake looked at each other, shocked and puzzled, when they heard what she had said to Sally. "Sally, I'm so sorry to bug you on such short notice, but things have spiraled into urgency here and I need you to prove to Claire and Jake that I'm not insane and that they need to take me seriously, like right now, because those scarlet-eyed beings have found them and we need to tell them everything so that we can show them how they can protect themselves." Aunt Emma turned to Claire and Jake and said, "Try not to freak out. You are in for a bit of a shock, but you are safe." Just then a whoosh sound could be heard, and a swirling, colourful cloud appeared on the wall in front of them. The cloud parted and out stepped Aunt Sally. "This is Aunt Sally, my best friend in the whole world," Aunt Emma declared to Claire, like a proud parent. Claire and Jake looked as if they had just ridden a roller coaster into icy water, thrilled and shocked. "Aunt Sally!" Jake shouted excitedly, hugging his favourite aunt tightly, who he rarely got to see. "I don't know what to say. How have you kept this a secret for so long?" "Oh, this is my girlfriend Claire," he exclaimed, feeling as if his words just weren't making sense. Aunt Sally smiled at his animated confusion, stepped forward and hugged the surprised Claire warmly. "Great to meet you, Claire. I hope I didn't scare you with my dramatic entrance, but Emma did say it was urgent." She turned to Jake and added, "Well, Jake, the way I managed to keep it all secret was because I only found out about everything recently. I was just as shocked as you guys, but it's been quite a ride, discovering sigils which create portals and healing powers, and discovering that the wonderful people who maintain the manor are, they're ghosts. Actually spirits, because they chose to be keepers of the manor and are not stuck on Earth." "Claire and Jake, you have a lot of catching up to do," Aunt Sally proclaimed, as she proceeded on all the events that had occurred. Just then a flashing ring of fire appeared and a beautiful woman stepped through. It was Amber. They all stared in silent awe of her beauty and magnificent presence. "I'm sorry to intrude like this," she announced, "but seeing as you are all together, I feel it is time to connect with you all. I'm sure you all have many questions which I am now ready to answer. But first, let's start at the beginning." It was the 17th century in the hills of England. My husband and I owned Tudor Abbey and were fairly comfortable. We were twin aspects and adored each other. Our daughter Catherine was being courted by a wonderful young gentleman called James. But their love needed to be kept secret as he was the son of an extremely wealthy family and his father had arranged for him to be betrothed to a Princess Elizabeth from France, whom he had wanted nothing to do with. Catherine and James had continued to meet in secret, which I pretended not to know about, because I understood what true love felt like, and knew they were meant for each other. The crimson-eyed beings had zoned in on their pure love energy and had waited for them near their meeting place at the willow tree. They had killed James and burned the cottage down that he had run into. My husband Zach had seen the smoke on the hill, ran to find out if Catherine was okay, but she had already died of smoke inhalation. Zach grabbed onto one of the beings as they attempted to return to the realm, but somehow the sheer energy of the realm had obliterated Jack into 1,000 pieces, as if he had been a spark in a fire. I saw it all happen from a distance and was utterly devastated. My daughter Catherine was gone. My husband Zach, my twin aspect, was no more, just diffused into sparks of nothingness. I retreated into my own private oblivion for a long time, a lost soul, with no meaning. Then one day, somehow I was transformed. I felt myself disintegrate into a flame of powerful energy. Painless, just ashes remained. Somehow the ashes reignited and I appeared as a phoenix, an immortal soul, protector, and vowed to help anyone from the crimson-eyed beings. Then I found you, Claire, in this lifetime, purely by chance, whilst protecting Jake. The vivid connection of who you both were played out in front of me. Finally, I felt as if I had purpose again. You were my Catherine a long time ago, and now you are beautiful Claire. Amber smiled contentedly, the pain in her heart easing slightly. You and Jake are meant to be together and will have what I lost with Zach. I cannot return Zach, but I can protect the two of you. I am always within reach, she said softly as she disappeared in a flash of light. Claire sat in stunned silence. It all made so much sense, but she could find no words. She hugged Jake and he held her tightly, as if he would never let her go. Things are going to become really busy around here, Claire said as she smiled at Aunt Emma. I think we're going to need some serious lessons in magical self-defense, if you don't mind, Aunt Sally, she half-jokingly stated, knowing full well that life was never going to be boring again.